Morning, afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining our session on how to record a podcast. Today, we will be sharing our experiences. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. It's about how we have gone so far in how to record a podcast and how to host it. And we are, like you guys, we are exploring further on how to do better things, how to do, how to reach more people as well. So this is just our journey as well. We would want you to share with you guys. So before we start, I would like you to please go to, let me share my screen. I would like you guys to go to this page, menti.com, and put this code 5606-0246 and see why you want to start a podcast. Obviously, you all joined here, so obviously you want to start a podcast. So we would like to hear from you why. Can you see the screen? Can you see this page? Yeah.
Rohit, did you say that we click on the link and we have to?
No, you just go to menti.com. Let me reshare this. Yeah.
And Mentimeter, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah,
so
this one. Yeah.
Okay. It's asking me to enter the code.
Yeah, so this is the it's on the screen now. Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
I'm sharing my screen now. Yeah. All right. Okay. Cool. Let me share again and see.
It's working, I think. Yeah.
It's working? Yeah. Yeah. So this is what you guys are putting now. Yeah. Why you want to start a podcast? Wow. Reaching larger population after COVID, online business, reach a global audience. That's great. Yeah. Wow. Speak up. Wow. Influence to share. I love that.
Marketing tool. Network.
Nice.
Express.
I love the word hello. That's quite cool. Hello. Maybe that could be the name of the podcast, right? Hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Rohit, that would be me. I thought it gave me 3 things to type, right? So I thought that's just a sample. So I wrote hello world, something like that.
Oh no, this is brilliant. I was thinking this is quite I should have imagined only Ankur could add this creative word, right? Hello. That is brilliant, Ankur. Thanks. Yeah. That could be your podcast, Ankur. That's good. So we had 11 people join on this page. I think how many we have? Yeah, about 18. So about 16. So guys, please go ahead if you want to add anything.
Yeah, give one more minute and then.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing this. It's quite nice to hear. I like the personal brand building after COVID to share, increase revenue, seen as a SME. Oh, nice. Cool. Should we start then, Rakesh?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for sharing this. Now let's start our podcast. There you go. How to start a podcast. Now, this is quite interesting topic in itself, right? How to start a podcast. I know we understood now why you wanted to start a podcast. And like I mentioned, this is our journey, Rakesh and mine journey into how did we start a podcast. Rakesh, you want to share something?
Yes. So, I'm, that you all know, I'm Rakesh Mudulia. So, I did ACC level 1 last year, March 2020. So that's a bit about myself. And during that time, it was 4-month, 5-month long journey. And during that time, we used to do check-in on our WhatsApp group. So what we used to do is before the session, we used to check in with the audio message on my WhatsApp and to the whole group, 14 of us, and Jaya was there. And then we used to check in for 1 minute audio message. And while doing the check-in, I started to like my voice. When I was doing the check-in and sending it to WhatsApp group, I used to love my voice. And there you go, I started my podcast journey. And the day I still remember, I told my wife that I'm going to start my podcast, and it will be called Let's Talk Clarity, and I will be talking about clarity, career, and productivity, and time management, and everything. But my wife hold on to me. Please hold on. But first, and she told me that first, please bring clarity when you will get me that diamond necklace which we saw in Tanishq store last week. So that was the thing which I still remember, but but let me start that I'm still figuring out how to purchase diamonds, but I have already done 27 episodes and exploring clarity of career, optimism, how to change, how to transform career. So that is my short story how I started podcast. It was just to share, just to express, and yeah, that's it. So over to Rohit.
Thank you, Rakesh. That's wonderful. Let me know when you can find that diamond. So yeah, so I'm an agile coach. I'm working in the UK, and I joined Abhyudaya last year, and it has been a wonderful journey. So why podcast? I wanted to share what I've learned, and because of that, just I thought, why not start writing something? But I didn't have confidence, and then I started saying, okay, let me start some podcast as well. I started a meetup group last year, or actually 2020, not even last year. See, we're in 2022. I didn't even realize time has gone too quick. So 2020, I started a meetup, and then I started a podcast. Unfortunately, I had to stop it, and but I wanted to share. I wanted to share what I've learned. I wanted to discuss with other people, wanted to learn more. I thought this was the best option. So this is why I started a podcast for me, to learn more, basically. And then I believe that sharing is caring. By sharing whatever we learned, reflecting back, I can learn more. You know, it's a journey. So yeah, that's why I started a podcast. So we've done that. Yeah. Okay. So if you see this one, there's another say, what is happening around the world? According to Edison Research, the number of monthly podcast listeners in the US grew by 17 million people from 2018 to 2019. And number of podcast listeners is expected to increase by 20 million each by year, passing 160 million by 2023. And that is a big number. In 2020, according to Statista, almost 50% of podcast listeners were between the ages of 12 and 25, and 40% were between 25 and 54. So you can see there's a massive young people are listeners, and people like us as well who are sharing a lot of content online on podcast. Rakesh, you wanna share the Indian side, please?
Yes, yeah. So for Indian, the status says that in 2018, 4 crore people were listening to podcasts. I don't know who these people are, because when I search in my network, my friends, family, or acquaintances, no one was listening podcast, and I don't know from where these people are coming. But the study also says that it will grow by 400%, and it will grow to 18 crore by 2023. So this good number, and people are coming to podcast because now that on our mobile we can see how much screen time we have used, and YouTube is getting too much crowded, and how to see the mobile screen whole day. So people are switching to podcast in a way. In India also, it is growing 400%. People are switching from YouTube to podcast somewhat during driving, during workout, or just like that. If you are doing in a kitchen something and you are just switching on the podcast, and this is the time. Means India is really getting bigger in this podcast thing.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about why, basically. Yeah. Rakesh, you want to continue, please?
Yes, definitely. So actually, the why someone wants a podcast. But before that, let me understand what is a podcast. Podcast is a digital asset. Just like physical asset, we are having home, house, we are having flat, car, we are having our big possessions, we are having our big mobiles, expensive mobiles. These are the physical assets. And what about digital asset? Digital asset is our website. Digital asset is our podcast, then our blog, and third thing is our YouTube channel. These are our digital assets. From last 10-15 years, everyone is going from physical world to digital world. Marketing, sales and marketing, all the startups are going into the digital world. So podcast is a digital asset for me. And why? What we do by these digital assets? Digital assets, website, blog, or podcast make our credibility. While doing coaching, the podcast will make us a brand value. So today I'm doing podcast from last 9 months, and when I share this podcast with my clients or with my customers, it built a credibility and brand value to me. And after 5 years, I can easily say that I'm running my podcast from last 5 years. And by listening to my podcast, people can come to me. They can decide whether to go for me as a coach or not. Because podcast is an extension of me. It's my thoughts, and this is a clear extension of me. And people can take the decision whether to go from Rakesh or Rohit, whether we should select these coach. And but there's also one thing, YouTube is also there. We can do YouTube also, YouTube channel. But for YouTube, you need camera, you need lighting, you need editing, and it's a lot of pain. Means for creating a YouTube channel and running it for longer time, it's really pain. And we as a coach, we all know how much time we are getting for these technical things. So podcast is a very good option apart from YouTube, because it doesn't need to do some makeup, or you don't need to dress like this, like we have dressed today. So we can just sit on a desk in your pajamas, or whether it is morning, night, anytime, you can just pick it up, this mic, and record and upload it. Or I can say is, if effort wise, because I started YouTube also, effort wise, it is, I think, just 10% of the effort of a YouTube channel. It is very easy, and that's what we will be sharing, that how easy it is, within how much time you will do. We will do a demo also. But apart from digital asset, then credibility, brand building, and it is better than YouTube. For me, my why is, it gives me a time to speak up. Whenever I'm having something inside me which is bothering me, I speak up on my mic and share with the world. So right from the childhood, I was very silent guy, or I was thinking I am an introvert during my childhood. So there were a lot of things which were there in my mind, and I want to speak up to the people. Podcast has given me that medium to speak up, to speak loudly, And whenever I do my coaching session, after the coaching session, if I get some idea or if I get some of the clue, I speak up about that. And after the coaching sessions, what happened? I always send a mail to my clients. And in that mail, I always give them homework. Please listen to my podcast number this. So why? Because the last 1 hour, whatever we have discussed during the coaching session, if I'm having any podcast based on those topics, I share with them. So this is my why I want to speak out loud. And now over to Rohit.
Thank you, Rakesh. That was wonderful to hear. My
Uh,
why.
Sorry
Yes,
to
we-
interrupt Rohit and Rakesh. Two questions, I would say.
Yes, go on, my yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, the one question was when we speak about the digital asset, our accounts on social media, for example, LinkedIn or as well Twitter or whatever it is, what would not that be the social asset for us or digital asset for us? It will be. Okay.
Yes.
Second question is to both of you, Rohit and Gautam. Rakesh, sorry. So when we say podcast, okay, and you said you pick up your mic and record, can't we use our own voice recorders in the phone for the podcast, or it's the quality really matters? What do you suggest?
Yeah, we will come on to these questions. You will have
Okay.
the answer in the next few slides.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I also have a question.
Sure.
I just want to confirm. For me, podcast means, just an audio version of what you do on YouTube. Is that correct?
You can say it this way, the audio version, but YouTube is more of a massive production. For
Yeah.
YouTube, if you want to grow on YouTube, because I know as a post-production guy, it is very hard. You need a
Yes.
team to actually edit all the videos, create those content, upload on YouTube, and you need to do regularly to even do a lot of, but podcast is that nowadays you don't have to come on camera, right? Some people are shy in front of cameras, right? So it's easier to build your audience, and then you can start YouTube as well. Because post-production, the editing, the timing it take ages on YouTube. And if you're comfortable and if you have a team, right, brilliant, go for YouTube, right?
So are you
Everything-
saying that a podcast is just simply record your voice and just upload?
Now
Yeah.
you will see in the next few slides how we do it. It's still a little bit of professional. It's not like just record on the phone and upload it, right? Because you will see when we go further, it's about the content, right? It's not about just recording.
Yeah.
Right? Like how we say in coaching, you have to have a quiet mind. There shouldn't be any interferences, because what you want to say, it needs to come out. Other person need to listen or hear
Yeah.
what you are saying, right? So
Right.
content matters. So we will go through the next few slides. You will have the answer, but if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll come in because I'm doing both sides. I'm doing hosting and sharing screen, so I need to see who is there. So any other questions before we move on?
I have a question, Rohit. Maybe this
Sure,
would be a
Richa.
little early and this would be answered as we go ahead. But I do create YouTube content. I had been asking this question many times, how sensible it is to pick up the content of YouTube, convert it into audio and put it on podcast. So is that a wise thing to do? Because then I don't have to record,
Both.
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, can be. This
Can
also
be
can be done, and
Yeah.
people are doing. Means our big motivation speaker that Chetan Bhagat is doing the same. He's doing a YouTube video and putting the same on his podcast. So that can be done. Means
And I know a lot of people who are doing all three: blog, YouTube, and podcast. What they write is all synced through all their assets. So people who are listeners, they are listening on podcast. People who want to watch on YouTube, they're watching on YouTube. People who love reading, they read on blogs. So they're doing all three. So you can plan your business that whatever you sync or whatever you push to podcast, it goes on every your social media channel or every digital asset you have. So there is a sync. So you
Yeah,
can do
one more-
that. Yes.
Right. One more small question now. Is
Sure,
it
please.
digitally copyright whatever we do on this podcast?
The copyright, what I understand, is mainly the artwork, the logo, right?
No, no, digitally copyright. See comments, like that
No, I
is-
think whatever you're saying is your mind, right? You're not reading for someone else's blog post. That is important bit to understand here. You're not going on like Google reading something and saying. You are giving your knowledge, your wisdom out there. So obviously every content will be different.
And even if you are reading from a book, you can very well credit them in the description or in the podcast itself.
Yeah, good point. You can reference it that you have read this book and then,
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So my my why was, I think now I need to understand. I forgot what I wanted to say. Yeah. So interview connections. Yeah. So my style is more interview style on podcast, and I invite people to come on the podcast as guest speakers. I discuss with them. For me, it's about making connections. It's my individuality. It's my thing that I thrive in the groups. I thrive with people. Sometimes I don't work alone as better as I do when I'm with people. So that is why my reason for having my own format was more interview style, so that I can connect with people. And this gives me credibility at work. I can share my mind up. I can discuss what I want to discuss openly here. So this was my why. So let's go back to our slides. So yeah. Can you see slides? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you need? Yeah. Go on,
So
Rakesh.
Rohit, just to summarize why.
So like we discussed now, digital asset is credibility, brand value. You can record anytime without makeup in your pajamas, speak your mind out, let it flow. And if you have interview style, then you make connections. And these were some whys that we just discussed. I saw a hand raised here. I don't know who it was, but let's move. Yeah. Okay. What you need. So there are 3 groups me and Rakesh have pointed out here. This is our experience. Someone else's experience might be different. So what we're sharing here is our experience. So there are 3 groups we can think of, which are important factors of a good podcast: are equipment, content, and where you are hosting. Equipment is not expensive. You can just pack a good mic. A good microphone doesn't cost much. For content, format, and artwork, you can use Canva. There are lot of free templates out there. Hosting, obviously, we will be discussing in the upcoming slides in more details.
So
Yeah.
hosting
Sorry.
is actually our YouTube hosting.
Yeah.
Audio YouTube.
Audio YouTube. Yeah. The best thing is you post it one place, it goes on all the podcasts. So you don't have to juggle around. You don't have to, like if you have Apple podcast, Google One, Spotify, Amazon, you post it once and it goes to all. It goes feed goes to all the podcast hosts.
Richa was asking. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you going to give us some more details about the equipments?
Yes,
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah. Okay. Content. Yeah. Rakesh, you want to take over?
Yes. So here means the first thing which when we start a podcast, everyone asks for a artwork, how to make this artwork and how to resonate it. So for me, what I did, I just opened my Apple Podcast app on my mobile and search what are the top 20, 30 podcasts are there. And from there, I started to like some 2-3 colors, means this yellowish orange color and this greenish color. So I like these colors when I see podcast artwork of people. And then I named my podcast as Let's Talk Clarity. So guys, clarity is, so my cohort knows what is clarity. Clarity is my coaching model. The coaching model which I submitted to level 1 ACC means this training. I submitted to Jaya, and Clarity is acronym of my coaching model. So that's how I started to name it as Let's Talk Clarity. That's it. But Let's Talk Clarity doesn't define what I'm going to talk about, whether it is life coaching, whether cryptocurrency, or what. So that's why I put some name over here. So Rohit, can you show career, productivity, and fulfillment? Yes. So Let's Talk Clarity doesn't define that what I'm talking about. So that's why I put a name, career, productivity, and fulfillment. That people will get to know what is this podcast is all about. And after that, I have put my big picture on this. Why? Because I want Rakesh Mathuria as a brand. I want Rakesh Mathuria to publicize as a coach. Different people having different style also. Some people don't want their pick, and that's totally fine. If they want to put some other some picture, some scenery, that's totally fine. It's up to you. Because for me, I have to post myself or market myself as a coach, an executive coach. That's why I have put my photo in a suit and the big one, so that people used to recognize me that Let's Talk Clarity is related to Rakesh Bhuria, who is an executive coach. So this is how we create our artwork, whatever suits you and whatever resonate with you. Just like that, this clarity resonated with me in my coaching sessions. So that's how I named Let's Talk Clarity. So, and in the format, we are having two formats in the podcast. One is monologue, which I do. I speak for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that recorded version is available. The second is interview style, which Rohit will talk about.
So one question to you, Rakesh, is can we say that Let's Talk Clarity is the name of your podcast channel?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So,
okay, so this doesn't change.
Yes, yes. If I want, then I can change, but this will remain same.
Okay. And what about this career, productivity, and fulfillment? So is this about what you are speaking today, or is it going to remain, these are the main topics on which you usually talk?
Yes, yes. These are the main topics which I am going to talk about. So if I am sharing any story, I relate somehow to life fulfillment and productivity and career.
Thank you for answering that. Yeah.
Over to Rohit.
Yeah, thank you, Rakesh. And I went to the other side. I went more open. I didn't have any groups or any areas I wanted to target. I just keeping as being curious, and that is the name of my podcast, Being Curious. I just wanted to talk to people. I just wanted to learn from them, share my learnings, and to know about their wisdom, what they want to share with me and others. So this is why I went with Being Curious. So that's why my format is the interview style. Like I mentioned in the previous slide, it's about I'm making connections as well. And then you learn something more, even though you have read somewhere, even something by talking to other people, discussing with someone, it always helps. You learn something new every time. And that is why my format is the interview style. But I'm not saying that I'm going to 100% do that. I'll probably do 90% interview, 10% my own as well, what I wanted to share as well. So I'm quite open. You don't have to stick to one interview style, but you can have your niche or what you want to do. Yes, Maheshwari, you have a question here. Yeah.
So Rohit, the question is, when you talk about the interview style, so do you prepare some questions or some duration in mind?
Yes. So I do prepare questions on the topic we want to discuss. And then I share it earlier before the podcast, so we know what we're going to talk about. And then sometime or most of the time, I think while talking, something else comes to mind, and then we discuss that. Because we're recording, and we will share the tools you can use to record remotely. And with that, what you can do is you can still, if you make a mistake, you can still stop. You don't need to stop like recording. You can stop and start again. and which in post-production, which is very easy to do here on podcast, you can remove that part. It doesn't, then it flows properly. So it's not like you have to restart the podcast to re-record everything again. You can stop that part and take a pause and start again.
Okay.
Sorry. Indu, you have a question as well?
Yeah, hi. So I have two questions. The first one being, I don't know if you'll cover them, but I'm still posing my question. So the first one being, is there like an ideal duration that is recommended if it's a monologue podcast? That is the first one. And the second is, we're talking about two types of podcasts. One is a monologue and the second is a dialogue. Is it advised that we can use both formats, or it is advised that we should stick to one type of format?
So let me answer.
Sure.
Yeah. So what is the ideal duration of the podcast? So the world average of the average listener listening podcast is 33 minutes. So it's means you can record up to 30 minutes, 1 hour, that's okay. But generally for a monologue, they say it should be ideally around 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. So that people are get connected. And why this is can be increased to 1 hour, because people used to travel, people are commuting from home to office for 45 minutes, 1 hour, or they are doing some workout. They are most of the listeners, when they are doing workouts, they don't want to change the podcast again and again. They are starting one podcast, and for 45 minutes, 1 hour, they want to listen the whole.
Right.
And yeah, so any duration is quite okay. So from 20 minutes to 1 hour you can choose whatever you feel like. But interview style, it goes for around 45 minutes to 60 minutes, so that people are getting engaged in the audience, and people started to initially in the interview style, people used to understand each other, and then they go deeper into the topic. So it's duration is up to you how to decide. And the second question which you asking, whether to go for hybrid or whether to go for single, or so for me, I also started interview style podcast. So I am having only one, but I will also go for hybrid, because for interview style, it needs a lot of effort. You have to connect with people, then both of the timing should match, and there's a lot of effort is there. So what I'm going to stick is that 4-5 I will do monologue, and then one interview style, so that we get time to do the monologue also, and then if I'm getting some people, I do interview style. So what do you say, Rohit?
Yeah, I think that's up to the point, Rakesh. I do believe the same thing. Yeah. I actually, when I started, I had a previous podcast on agility where I was working, so I had to stop that. I renamed that podcast to Being Curious as a Coach podcast, and I had to delete the previous episode because they were on agility. And for me, because this is, for me, it's a starting point of being curious, so I am doing short interview snippets, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, not too long. So once I get used to it, once we all get used to it, people feel comfortable, I feel comfortable, then probably I'll do longer ones. But at the start, to build up the listeners, to build up the followers, subscribers, I'm going with the short format, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or 30 minutes. Again, it depends how the conversation flows as well. Sometimes you can do it, then you have to edit it, and then it comes out as 25 minutes. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. You can always try, see how it goes, and you can always adopt, right? You can inspect, see how it goes. It's a learning. Right? Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So regarding the format we discussed, regarding the music, don't reinvent the wheel for music. There are a lot of free royalty-free websites available, like he says here, Audionautics and Pixabay. And there is a paid one, which I use, Artlist. Because why I use it? Because I use it on my other post-production stuff. So I have a lot of options, but keep it simple. I say when I was a software developer ages ago, so we used to call it a KISS, means keep it simple and stupid. Don't reinvent everything. Just keep it simple. And simplicity is the key. Don't think too much. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
I have a
don't think.
question here.
Yeah, sure,
Sorry.
sure, Richa.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you please complete and then I'll ask.
Yeah, so no, it's fine. I nearly finished. Yeah, go on, Richa. Yeah.
I have not really explored these audio platforms, but I've been to Envato, etc. And normally what I see is that music pieces are really small, 1 minute, 1.5. But then when you are doing a 20 minutes podcast, what do? You keep repeating the same thing again and again, the same music, 1.5 and then again 1.5 and then how do you do it? Or
So-
do you have those long audios available here?
Yeah, so I do it just at the start and the end.
Yeah,
I don't
same.
have a I don't
same
have a
for me.
background.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
no, sorry, go on. Okay.
So I was just telling that I do the same. Initially start and at the end. That's it.
So we don't need a background music, an extra,
Yeah, that helps.
sound.
That helps.
Yeah, when you're discussing something. Yeah. Cool. I think I know a few podcasters do have a very, very tiny sound in the background when they're doing monologue one, just very tiny, to keep the mood going, to keep engaging the audience, listeners, So
Yeah.
okay.
What,
Yeah. So
I also have a question.
yeah, sure. Go on. Yeah.
So what is the frequency at which you release a podcast? Do you do it every week? Do you do it every day? Or how do you build that the listeners for your
Yeah.
podcast channel?
I do weekly, right? Sometimes I do miss as well. So, but yeah. So again, it's part of like the more you do it, the more it will go out, right? So if you stop for a month, 2 months, 3 months, then the interest will fade away because people keep subscribing to different podcasts, right? So if you keep feeding them, right? Like we say, if you keep feeding keep feeding them. So, yeah.
Yeah, for me also weekly is.
And it's same as YouTube, you have to have a consistent run for content. Okay. Any other questions before we move next? So we have to be quick in the next one. Okay, there you go. So yeah, so like interview based, we said how to get a content. This is really, really tough question to answer, how to get a content, because this is where your niche, this is where you actually build your audience. This is your niche. You need the topics which are talked about in the industry or whatever you want to focus on. So people get connected to conversations. That's why I got hooked into this interview styles. And one of my friend, he's in the Bitcoin and he's a number 2 podcaster now, right? He even bought a football club, Peter. So he's great in talking. So, and he does a lot of interview style. He even done a remote interview. So he went there, took his equipment and recorded it in the house, their houses, rather than online, which I do. So, but monologues sometimes become single tones and sometimes heavier to listen. Rakesh, you want to add into that?
Yes. So monologue becomes monotone sometimes, but it decreases the pain or effort of the interview style very much. Means maybe 5-10% of the total effort. So it's up to you where you want to position yourself. There are podcasts in the top 10 in the world. Most of them are interview based, but interview based need a lot of effort. Yeah.
And how I connect with people is obviously LinkedIn with my coaching cohort, right? Reflecting back to what we have learned so far and sharing our experiences and knowledge. This is what I get content from. And then we always discuss how we're going to encounter, what topic we learned, what topic we're going to talk about. Right? And LinkedIn is the best place. And obviously our coaching cohort, you can connect. We have like 100 people in our alumni. You can always get content from someone, right? Anyone who wants to come into it. So as a newbie in podcaster, I want to give the platform to everyone else as well. So we all can learn together and feel comfortable, right? And then they can go on build their own massive podcast. Yeah. So Rakesh, you want to share how you get your content?
Yeah. That's my favorite topic. How how I get content, because there are means when if in the world 10 podcasts start, so only 3 goes about 10 episode, and the main reason why they cannot continue is less content. But we as a coach, we are having tons of content with ourselves. We as a coach very much means we are having many things to talk about, and every day we are meeting people, we are coaching people, so we are having very good content with us. So from where I get my content is whenever means I feel low, or whenever I'm not on my own frequency, I read my old diaries. From last 4 5 years, I'm reading my books, self-help books, and I'm noting down many things. And I resort to my diaries, old diaries. So you can see a lot of diaries I'm having, and I'm taking notes. So these are the means my content, means you can say content from where I get the content. I resort to my diaries, and the topics and the means idea which resonate with me at that mood or that point of time, I speak on those, and definitely I relate those topics to career productivity and fulfillment. So I have to connect the whole scenario. So that's what I do. And the second thing which I do is what are my primal interest. Primal interest means from childhood, what I like most. So I like cricket, I like movies, I like tracking. So I'm doing my podcast on cricket. I did one on Kane Williamson. I do a podcast on movie stars like Farhan Akhtar, and then how I will connect to the career productivity and somehow connect to the story. So that's why, because these topics and these primal interests come from my core. It starts from my core. So that's why I resort to my interest. And then in the when 2022 started, I released a podcast on New Year resolutions. So we can always release depending on festival, new current idea, or any COVID or current topics like Djokovic episode. So there's a lot of content out there. You just have to connect with you. So that's how we go about it. And the fourth one is we can do the book reviews, even a book review of even coach our fellow coaches, their book, and we can ask them for an interview. So that's fine. How can we go about it? And sometimes I do podcasts on a topic which I discuss with some of the coaches or clients. And sometimes I do podcasts if I'm discussing with some of my friend any topic. And once one of my friend called me and asked me that I'm really in a difficult situation, and because my kids are not able to study, and they are always on the screen. So the next day I release a podcast saying that how to reduce the screen time for kids. So that's why I means we can make content, the topics which resonate with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. And I go the similar way. Because I named it being curious, I'm just curious to anything. I don't have the groups yet, but I may have in the future because I'm still evolving into this. So at the moment, I'm being curious to anything about coaching, anything where we can talk about. I remember we did Ankur and I did a podcast on fixed and growth mindset. And actually, we didn't even stop anyway. We just kept talking, discussing, and then came out pretty good. And we had good reviews. A lot of people actually messaged me, say it was pretty nice, pretty good. So thank you, Ankur. And let's do next one. Okay, equipment. Yeah. So equipment, I think, is the key here, because you need a good microphone to record your voice. They're not that expensive. You can buy like Amazon. Sometime, like, in India, we have a Republic Day sale now, I think. You can buy from Amazon, or you can go and practice and see actually how these work. But good microphone is the key, because it can stop the wind noise. It can stop the breath noise, the breath sound. So that is why it's important. And when you're recording, you need to be clear of any interferences. No noise, no sound in the house or anything. It adds to too much complexity then, So you have to be mindful on that sense. And editing software. There are a lot of editing software, which we'll discuss in the next slide, where once you download the audio, you have to still do a little bit of editing before you upload, so that you can create a snippet of your start and the end point and keep it there, and just change the middle bit, which is your discussion or your monologue voice podcast. So you don't have to re-record your end and the start point every time. You can just keep it one place and just update every time. Yeah.
Can you name some of the good microphones?
Yes, I use Rode One, and Rakesh gonna discuss another piece of equipment, which is very important as well. But I use the Rode, which is it's the USB one. It was about 125 quid. I don't know how much is it. I think it was about 10,000 rupees. I think 11,000 rupees. But there are some cheaper ones as well. You
I
can
have
buy.
a question here.
Sure.
Is it condenser one or a dynamic one that you suggest? I have a Fifine condenser, and I had been exploring because what I'm reading is that people say that dynamic microphones cut the noise very well. Condenser does not do it so well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you can experiment it. I'm not that technically good what it is, but I'm gonna share a link here which you can go to and see how you can actually set up the mic. So you have for example, you have a space with like one palm space here before you speak, and they tell you where to keep it. If you see if you see any mic, there is a dot there, right? I can't show you here because I'm speaking, but there is a dot. So that shows you which way you need to speak to, right? I can't speak this way. I can't speak this way. I have to speak this way because the side dot is here. So it shows you. So those kind of things, technical things, you can learn by when you open the document. But I'll share the link in the next slide with you all, which you can share. Yeah. And Rakesh, please.
Yeah. So for me, I use a mic, which is company's name is AKG. So it was on a sale. I purchased around 4,000 Indian rupees on Amazon.
Is it online? Okay.
Yes, it is available. I purchased on Amazon only, AKG, and I purchased just the basic one, and it serves the purpose. But we all love Apple products, and I'm also Apple fan. But when I purchased this thing, it was not connected to Apple, and I was not able to record it. So then I had to purchase this one also. This is sound card, which connects this mic and my Apple product. So if it is window, it could have worked very well, but this sound card also cost me around 4,500 something. So total of 10,000. Yeah.
Which sound card is that, Rakesh?
So it is a Focusrite two band Focusrite.
So yours is not a plug and play. It's not a USB microphone that you have.
Yes. So whenever we are purchasing, please purchase a USB type mic. And if that is not there, USB is not there, then anyway you can purchase a sound card, and that gives distortion-less recording. That's not a problem. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Rakesh. And Ankur he has done some research. He has put in the chat. So if you guys want to connect with Ankur, he has all the list of the podcast mics we can use. So he has done a research. So please connect with Ankur. Ankur has a question, Rakesh. Can we connect the sound card to iPhone?
I think no. I think it is not possible. Yeah, because we need extra cable, one more cable, which can connect iPhone and the sound card. We can connect it, but we have to do that extra cable. We have to purchase that extra cable.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move forward, guys. Conscious of the time. So yeah, so there are the editing softwares. You can see, we have GarageBand, which is free with Apple, right? It works with Apple products. And there is an Apple Logic Pro X as well, which is a professional app, a software. It works only on Macs as well. And there's Audacity, which works on both, and this is paid as well. And then the last one we can recommend is Audition, Adobe Audition, and it works with all the softwares as well, like iOS as well. But the problem is that these are paid. You probably may get something free. I'm not sure there's anything available as of yet as a good editing software, free one.
I think Audacity you can have the free version, and it can be used for podcast.
Yeah,
in Audacity.
In Audacity, yeah, cool. Okay, so this one, so recording software. So now this, why I went with these, because I do remote sessions. I don't have the thing that I can go to someone's house and record it. I don't have the time. Everyone else don't have the time either. So what I do is I have connected with Squadcast. I have taken their subscription where I can send the link, and the guest speaker can connect on Chrome browser, and I can record remotely. The best part is it just record the audio, and you can have a echo cancellation mode as well. So it removes the echo, and it gives me WAV files or MP3 files. And the quality of that is very, very, very good. Right. And this is the best paid because I have an interview style. So I can invite 3 guests as well. So myself as a host and 3 other guests. So I can even do 4 people discussion as well, which is great. And I will get a separate audio file for each and every individual. It won't be a combined, condensed file. It will be 3 separate recordings. Makes it much, much easier in editing. When I have to remove something, when I have to, play somewhere something else. So it makes it much, much easier because I get 3 separate, if I do 2, there are 2 separate audio files. You can use Zoom as well and download the audio file, right? So again, these are paid services. You can explore that further. You can note down Squadcast and Riverside. Those are the 2 I know. There might be a few more as well. Yeah. Okay. How to record. Yeah. You want to share, Rakesh? So I can go. So like I say, how to record. And there is a link here at the end, number 6. So if you go to this link, there is a page you will see from Buzzsprout where you can see how to better record, where to place the mic, how to record, and make sure the microphone is stable first of all, right? There is no sound coming out of the disturbance. Get your distance right. So what they say is keep your mouth like 1 palm away, right? Angle your microphone clearly. See where the best angle is. That you have to try. Record on GarageBand or any software you have. Record your own voice and see how it goes. Check mic levels, and obviously best to use headphones while you're recording, but because that you can see your voice. You can hear your voice, right? And do a test recording. And do check out this page, strg.info/podcast mic, where you can basically see all the list of all the best practices. Yeah, sorry, Hemant, you have a question? Yeah.
Rohit, I just wanted to ask Rakesh, because he does a monologue of what recording software does he use?
So Hemant, I use Mac, so I use GarageBand. I record directly on GarageBand.
Okay, so you directly just switch on your iPhone, switch on the GarageBand, and then you start talking whatever you feel like.
Yes.
Okay.
Direct dil se.
Direct dil se. And you are able to edit there itself, in the sense where you are able to go and add your music at the beginning and at the end and do that.
Yes, I'm able to do, and I will show some of the demo at the end of the session.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. And these are the hosting providers, right? And you can use, I use Buzzsprout, and there are others as well, like Podbean, Zencast, Captivate. Yeah. And there is an Indian one as well. Rakesh, you want to mention that?
Yes. So I also use the #1 podcast hosting, that is Buzzsprout, the same as Rohit too. And all these services are paid somewhat, means there are $10-12 a month, because they give hosting and everything. So in India, we are having many new players who give the hosting available to us with free. The seventh one, the Hubhopper, is the free one. Means you can try it out, Hubhopper, and work if you want to continue with the podcast. Or means in the Buzzsprout also there is a 3 month free period. You can do the take the 3 months and understand what is podcasting and how to go about it, and whether you want to continue in the paid version or you can switch to Hubhopper. And the best thing about podcasts is you can very well switch the hosting seamlessly. Even the Apple, Google podcast, they will never know that you have switched the hosting from Buzzsprout to Podbean or to Transistor or Gencast. It happens seamlessly. We can switch from even from paid version to Hubhopper. I can shift. But why paid version? Because they will give better reach, and they will transform our podcast to Apple and Google faster. The free hosting site may take time. They may have outage.
Yeah. So it's always good to use the paid service, because
Paid
you get the support as well. You get, it will be up. The uptime will be higher rather than, the free service. They can go bust anytime.
So Rohit, so it's already 1:30, and
Yes.
I don't know how many slides are. I think 2-3 more slides, but
Yes, yes.
demo is there.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be able to finish in 5-7 minutes.
Yeah. If everyone okay with that, we can go above. Yeah. Above the time. I know we all time conscious.
Yeah.
We can, yeah.
So
Since we have invested 60 minutes, we can put in another 10 minutes.
Thank you, Eva. That's the best way to put it.
So
and this is the best part, right? So
Yeah.
What I have done is I have recorded a podcast yesterday night, and I will show you a demo how to put on the Buzzsprout hosting website and how to do about it. So it will take hardly 5 to 7 minutes how to host a podcast. So
Okay.
Rohit, can you
Sure.
make me
Let
host?
me make host. Yes, indeed. There you go.
Okay. So let me share my screen. So you guys, you are able to see my desktop. Rohit, are you able? Yeah. So what I have done is I have recorded a podcast yesterday night. So here it is, episode 28, Learn, Do, Teach, and this artwork also, I'm ready with it. So I'll just show how I am making artwork. Okay, it is still opening. Till the time it is opening, okay, here it is. So this is my artwork. So what I'm doing is I'm changing this episode 27 to 28. That's it. And changing clarity of this learn, do, teach. This thing to some other, means whether it is New Year resolution. And that's it. I'm saving. It takes hardly less than a minute. Okay. And here you go. So this is my Buzzsprout account. Here you can see all my podcasts lying here. And when I have to record or upload a podcast, I have to go here, upload a new podcast. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just dragging and putting this file here. Yeah, that's it. The audio file is uploaded, and then I'm putting this clarity of learn, do, teach, and I'm habit of putting podcast episode also here. 28. That's it. So episode description. So I have noted everything. This text is here. So I'm putting this description here. It is already there in my system. And so what I do below this description, I put my website and all those things. Let me do that.
Rakesh, what does the description cover?
So description covers that people used to understand what this podcast episode is all about, and they can feel the connect to listen to the whole podcast.
Okay.
So
how long a description is advised? Because then we are depending on them to read it.
So it must be 3-4 lines, or maybe 2 para, 3-4 lines, 3-4 lines, 3-4 lines. That's it. So this I have opened one of my previous podcasts. What I'm doing is I'm copying this thing and pasting it here. So this is having my website and a clarity call and my VIP group on Facebook. And if they want free ebook, their link is also there. So I'm putting everything in the description, and slowly I'm getting people who are there coming for clarity call and all those. And then I'm selecting this artwork. There it is. So season 1, episode 28, and publish immediately, save. Oh, congratulations, your episode is published.
Congratulations.
So let me share this. This is the email link to, I'm copying here, and it is there. I think it took hardly 5 to 6 minutes after, because I have recorded the episode last night and I made the artwork. That took me around, for recording a podcast, that took me around 30 minutes, and including artwork. And yes, that's it. Yeah, so someone is, I admit. So why means I like the podcast and all these things is, I did this episode in less than 45 minutes. So recording and some searching about the topic, 30 minutes, and then uploading and then doing this, all that. So less than 45 minutes. So once a week, if I'm putting less than 45 minutes and making so much of brand value or credibility by this podcast, it's worth the time and effort. Compared to blog and YouTube and everything. Compared to all those things, this is the one thing which I thought is easier than everything. And we all are coaches, so we are always having a paucity of time and everything. So podcasts gave better the management of time, because I'm every time I'm sitting Friday evening or Saturday morning, I'm giving 1 hour to this, and I think within 1 hour I'm able to host my episodes. Yeah, Rohit.
Yeah, no, indeed, Rakesh. We all want to join your VIP Facebook group now, or LinkedIn group. Yeah.
So first download the free ebook, and on that free ebook, I will capture your email ID, and I build my list.
There you go. Yeah. So this is all connected, right? So
yeah. So Richa and Purbi.
Rakesh, I had a question.
Yes.
So do you actually write down your script before you talk, or you just go on?
I do both. Means most of the time I write everything. I write everything and type it out because means I feel comfortable when it is written. But during speaking, if I got some other idea, I go haywire this wire. Means you can say 80% it is written, and 20% I ramble and I go like that. And some of the episode I just speak from the heart. That is also there. But most 80 means most of the part I write everything and speak.
Thank you.
So my question is, in YouTube, for example, we have this concept of playlist. So if I have got different topics altogether, I can club them into one playlist and put in. Do we have something similar in podcast? Because, or for different topics, should I go ahead with different podcasts? Because what happens is I have spiritual topics, I have life topics, and like that. So I would like to put them under separate category for people to not get confused.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so that thing I think in Buzzsprout is not there, but seasons are there. In season 1, season 2, those options are there. But clubbing podcasts on a particular topic, it is not there in Buzzsprout. Let me share. Yeah.
Yeah. Not in
What?
Buzzsprout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, but you can, when you register your podcast with Apple or Google, I think you have to give a category there. So once you give the category, what do you want to talk about? So that category then goes into the feeds, and when somebody searches, and you have your tags there as well, you can maybe use tags when you want to use a separate, that kind of a different kind of talks, and to group them together. But I think there is a category you can use, but I think podcast wise is more of like what you want to talk about. What is your focus here? I think that's why people follow, people subscribe, the niche, what you want to talk about. That's why for me, I think it was simpler just to being curious, so I can talk about anything. That was my idea behind it. So I don't have to stick to one. Yeah.
In that case, it looks like it makes sense to have two separate podcasts because there are two very different set of audience.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Questions from Hemant and Rama.
Yeah, hi. May I go first?
Yes, go ahead.
So mine is a very more basic sort of a question. So for one, in the interview style, why would one not just simply use Zoom and record it and just a audio recording and use that? The first question.
Yes.
Could answer that?
Yeah, sure. So basically, when you record on Zoom, the quality is not there of the audio. Zoom doesn't record highest quality audio. What you can get from Riverside or Squadcast, which I use. And recording the audio file is very important. You need a higher frequency, higher bit rate, the audio file. You can't just, because you can use a Zoom, but Zoom doesn't give you the better quality audio, because you want to make sure the people listen to your content, not the noise, not the talk, but actually the content. To grab them into the content piece, you need a good audio file, so that people just focus on your content, no the other interferences happening, no the other bits are happening. That is why, again, it's my experience. So you can always explore doing both and see how it works for you. If it works, Zoom works for you better. And if you have a good, connection or good, you can go ahead with Zoom as well. You don't have to pay for that. A lot of people do that Zoom as well.
I also did one interview style on Zoom only.
Okay.
So you can always explore. Yeah.
Okay.
My experience was that the audio file wasn't great. Right? And then I did not get two separate files. I only get one file. With Riverside, I got two separate files, for mine separate and the guest speaker separate. So if I have to edit, so like if I say, I can remove mine. If I have one file, I can't remove that. Right? So that I have two timelines then, my recording and the guest speaker recording. So in editing, I can just play around better. Yeah.
Okay. The other one is, so let's say a podcast, you've got it already. how would people know, that you've done this podcast? How would you
Yeah.
popularize it?
That was our next slide actually, but yeah,
Oh.
Rakesh, you wanna start? Yeah.
So Ankur is also having questions. So let us answer that and put it on second slide. Yeah.
Sure. So it's first is a very simple one. So when you showcase this Buzzsprout, no, आपने भी you just hit publish now. When you schedule it for some time, say for example Monday 9 a.m. So is that does that do it automatically, or like I have to be there at 9:30 a.m. just to hit that publish button, or it gives me a reminder, something like that?
No, it happens automatically. Yeah. You can set the time, so you can even record 5 sessions in advance, and you can schedule those 5 sessions when you want to submit it. To come onto the Apple or Google feed, it takes a while. It takes a few hours to appear on Google or Apple or podcast. But on Buzzsprout, it will be instant. But you can schedule it. You don't have to then worry about anything that you have to log back in.
Yeah. So Rohit, I made you host. And
Oh, okay. Thank you. I think Rama had a question as well. Yeah.
No, I actually did my second question. I think you guys have decided to put it for the next slide. But I've already asked my 2 questions.
Okay. I saw your hands.
I just changed that. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Yeah. So this is what Rama asked. How do you market yourself? Right. So obviously we have LinkedIn. You can share the podcasts on LinkedIn, social media within your cohort, friends and family, at work. And the people will hear, the word of mouth will go, and then it will come up on the feeds as well, right? And every one person is listening and getting value out of it. It is a success. Don't think that I remember we were talking in our cohort, and Jaya mentioned, do it for yourself, not for followers, not for subscriber, just do it for yourself, and everything else will follow. If you're speaking from Dil Se, if you're sharing whatever, it will all follow. Just do it for yourself. Yeah. Rakesh, you want to add, please?
Yeah. Actually, we as a coaches, we are very indifferent about marketing ourselves and putting our YouTube and everything on LinkedIn. It means we resist ourselves, but it's always very good time to learn marketing and start doing it. And this reminds me one very beautiful story about the book The Alchemist, which is by Paulo Coelho. I think most of the people have heard or read it, because it is the most popular book in the history of books, Alchemist. So what happened when Paulo Coelho released this book with a publisher, and book is not doing well, and the publisher was not responding, and the publisher was not doing marketing, and he was not doing at all, and the book is not doing well. So Paulo Coelho, what he did is he went to a vacation, and after the vacation he came back. He collected all the books from the publisher and went to some other publisher, and then he changed the cover page of the book and released the book with the second publisher. And then this book was sold 100 million copies and still counting. And it was released in 1978 or 77. And after this 43 years also, it's still selling like hotcake, The Alchemist. So it is very important to do the marketing. And once you recorded the podcast, put it out there, send to people. They will listen, and even one person understand and get some value, it's a success.
Indeed.
So Rohit, I think that's all for us.
Yeah. That's it. I know we have last slide. Any questions? But if anyone has any question, please go ahead. Yeah.
And anytime if you feel any issue, we are there. We are there to help you one-to-one to start this podcast. And for me, means sharing my podcast and starting my podcast is the best journey I have ever taken in my life, because means it's already 9 months and I'm enjoying it. Means speaking out loud and putting out there, and I'm just enjoying this journey.
And anyone else want to have a podcast with me, wants to be a guest speaker, please ping me. We all LinkedIn, on LinkedIn or on our group. So happy to support everyone together. We all can discuss together, all grow together.
Thank you so very much, Rohit and Rakesh. It was really useful. I have been thinking of starting my podcast channel. So all this information is very, very helpful, and thank you for your time. I really appreciate all that you shared. I always was under the impression that I am missing something, about what all I need to do starting a podcast, but I think that was only procrastinating, myself. I'll start it next year. But this is really great information. Thank you so very much for sharing your journeys.
Thanks for joining. Thanks everyone for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining and asking.
Thank you so much for this session, Rohit and Rakesh.
And
wonderful.
Yeah, are you guys on the Abhyudaya group?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Happy to
Thanks
connect.
for
Yeah.
all the sharing that you've done.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah,
have a good day. Yeah.
Thanks for joining, and thank you Jaya and Abhyudaya for giving us opportunity. Big thank you.
Big
Tim
thanks
C.
for the platform.
Tim C.
I also want to thank you, Rakesh and Rohit, for this wonderful session. It was a great learning for everybody. And I request everyone, if you have any topic in your mind on which you want the sessions to have, to be conducted in the coming months, please do let us know. Right? So all the best to everyone, and thank you everybody for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks, Abhyudaya, also for the platform.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jaya. Thank you, Tim C.
Thank you. Take care, all of you. Bye-bye.